My sister, Sarah, passed away 5 years ago, leaving behind her precious daughter, Lily, who was only 10 at the time. It was a devastating loss for all of us. Before she died, Sarah made sure Lily would be taken care of. She set up a trust fund, a substantial one, meant to cover Lily's education and give her a head start in life. The money was to be managed by her husband, my brother-in-law Mark. We all trusted him. He was Lily's father, after all. Seemed heartbroken, just like the rest of us. And for years, he played the part of a grieving, devoted single dad perfectly. For the first few years, everything seemed fine. Mark would give us updates on Lily, send photos, and talk about how well she was doing in school. He'd mention the trust fund occasionally, saying things like, "Sarah would be so proud. We're using the fund for the best tutors." Or "Lily's got her sights set on a great university, all thanks to Sarah's planning." We had no reason to doubt him. He was family. He was the one raising my niece, and from the outside he was doing a good job. But lately, something felt off. I'm Lily's godmother, and Sarah had always wanted me to be a big part of her life. I tried to see Lily as much as possible, take her out for weekends, and just be there for her. During one of our recent weekends together, Lily, who's 15 now, mentioned something that stuck with me. She was talking about a school trip to Europe, something all her friends were excited about. She said she'd love to go but knew it was too expensive. I casually said, "Well, maybe we can ask your dad about using some of the education fund for it. It sounds like a great learning experience." Lily's reaction was strange. She got really quiet and just shrugged. "Dad says that money is only for college, and even then, he says it's almost gone." "He's always worried about money," she said, looking down at her hands. "Almost gone." That didn't make any sense. Slew. I knew for a fact that Sarah had left more than enough to cover a top-tier university education, living expenses, and plenty more. For it to be almost gone when Lily was still in high school was a massive red flag. That conversation gnawed at me. I started paying closer attention to Mark. His social media was a highlight reel of a life that did match his struggling single dad narrative. There were pictures of him on lavish golf trips, driving a brand new luxury car, and wearing designer watches. He'd always have an excuse. Of course, it was a work trip, or I got a great deal on the car. But it was all adding up, and the math wasn't in his favor. My heart was pounding. I had to know for sure. I felt like a terrible person for snooping, for doubting the man who was raising my niece, but my gut was screaming at me that something was very wrong. I remembered Sarah had made me a secondary contact on some of her financial accounts, just in case of emergency. I didn't know if my access was still valid, but I had to try. I found the old paperwork, located the bank that managed the trust, and made a call, my voice shaking. I explained who I was and my relationship to Sarah and Lily. After a series of security questions that felt like they took an hour, the representative finally confirmed my identity. I took a deep breath and asked for a statement of the trust fund's activity. The woman on the other end was very professional. "Ma'am, I can't send you a full history without the primary trustee's consent, but I can give you the current balance and information on recent withdrawals." I agreed, my stomach in knots. She put me on hold. It was the longest 2 minutes of my life. When she came back on the line, her tone was measured. "The current balance is significantly lower than the initial principal." She then read out a number that made my blood run cold. It was less than 10% of what Sarah had left. "And ma'am," she continued, "I see a pattern of regular, large, cash withdrawals over the past 4 years, all authorized by the primary trustee." Mark felt sick. It was all true. The golf trips, the new car, the fancy clothes. It was all bought with Lily's future. He had been systematically draining his own daughter's trust fund to finance his lifestyle. The anger that washed over me was hot and immediate. This wasn't just about money. This was a betrayal of the highest order, a betrayal of Sarah's dying wish, a betrayal of Lily's future, and a betrayal of our family's trust. I ended the call, my mind racing. What do I do now? Confronting Mark would be explosive. He was a master manipulator. I was seeing that, now, he would deny everything, turn it around on me, maybe even try to cut me off from Lily completely. And my niece. How would this affect her? Finding out her father, the only parent she had left, had stolen from her. It would crush her. I spent the next few days and a days trying to figure out the best course of action. I couldn't let this go. I had made a promise to Sarah that I would always look out for Lily. And now, more than ever, Lily needed someone in her corner. I decided I couldn't go in guns blazing. I needed a plan. I needed proof. Undeniable proof that he couldn't talk his way out of I started by contacting a lawyer who specialized in financial fraud and estate law. I explained the entire situation, my voice trembling with a mix of anger and grief. The lawyer was incredible. She was calm, methodical, and assured me that we had options. She advised me not to confront Mark directly just yet. First, we needed to gather as much evidence as possible. The bank statements were a start, but we needed more to build a strong case. So, I became a detective. I started documenting everything. Took screenshots of Mark's social media posts showing off his expensive toys. I talked to Lily, gently, asking her questions about their finances, trying to understand what Mark had been telling her. She told me he often complained about being broke, that he'd made her feel guilty for asking for anything, even basic school supplies. He was gaslighting his own daughter, making her feel like a burden while he lived it up on her dime. The lawyer filed a motion to get a full accounting of the trust. Because I was named as a contingent trustee in Sarah's will, the court granted it. The documents that came back were worse than I could have imagined. It was all there in black and white. Withdrawals for a down payment on the sports car, transfers to his personal account, labeled investment, and countless cash withdrawals at casinos and luxury resorts. He had been using Lily's college fund as his personal piggy bank. The day of reckoning finally came. Armed with a mountain of evidence and our lawyer, I arranged a meeting with Mark. I told him it was about planning for Lily's college applications. He walked in, smiling and confident, completely oblivious. My lawyer, myself, and a court-appointed mediator were there. We laid it all out. The bank statements, the screenshots, the legal documents. I watched the color drain from Mark's face. The charming, confident facade crumbled, and for the first time, I saw the real Mark, a weak, selfish man who had stolen from his own child. He tried to deny it at first, stammering out pathetic excuses. They were loans. I was going to pay it back. It was a bad investment. But the evidence was overwhelming. He was trapped. The legal battle was messy and painful, especially for Lily. We had to tell her, and as I predicted, it broke her heart. But as she processed the betrayal, something amazing happened. My niece, this quiet, sweet girl, found a strength I had never seen before. She stood up to her father, telling him how much he had hurt her. The legal process ended with Mark being removed as trustee and ordered to pay back a portion of the funds, though we knew we'd never recover it all. I was appointed the new trustee of what little was left. It's been a year since then. It hasn't been easy. Lily is in therapy, and we are working through the trauma together. She lives with me now. Our home is not as big as the one she had with Mark, and we don't have a lot of luxuries. But it is filled with honesty and love. We're rebuilding, piece by piece. We're looking at scholarships and student loans for college, and I'm working 2 jobs to help save it. Not the future Sarah planned for her, but Lily is strong, she is resilient, and she knows she is loved. She's going to be okay. And I will be right by her side, every step of the way, keeping my promise to my sister. Thank you for listening to our story. It's a reminder to always trust your gut and to fight for the people you love, no matter what.